joined by Mary Ellen Kamiri, who is a food science professor at UMaine, and we'll be talking about one of our favorite things here in Maine. Of course, we're talking about maple syrup. So first of all, talk a little bit about kind of your expertise and your love of Maine maple syrup.
Well, my expertise is in sensory and consumer science. So I have a lab where people come and taste and tell us how much they like food.
Okay.
So we're going to be tasting maple syrup.
Oh my goodness. Woo!
And so I've learned a lot more about maple syrup as a result of this project, because I just would buy the jug and put it on my pancakes.
I think that's how most people think of it. But there's certainly a science to this, and as we can all see from these examples, there's variation in color that folks might not think about. So how does this happen, and what do the colors mean?
Well, the very first syrup that they produce in the spring is this light colored. Mm-hmm. It's also lighter flavored.
Okay.
It's got a little more fluid body.
Okay.
Later in the season, you get the very dark, robust flavored maple syrup.
And is that strictly due to a lapse of time, or a later tapping?
As later tapping, and the trees are putting more sugar into their sap to get the leaves to come out.
Okay.
So it's partly biology, and then part is the boiling process.
Okay.
So the result is we have different options that many consumers are not aware of.
And do the flavors vary, or just the sugariness? Yeah.
The sugar isn't all that different, but the intensity of the flavor follows the color.
Okay. I like the sound of that.
So the idea is, we're doing research, maybe the light syrup should go into your tea.
Okay.
But if you're making a baked product or mixing it with bourbon, the very dark might be the one to taste.
And so bringing up some of those alternative uses, I think folks just sort of think about putting it on maybe on an ice cream sundae like we do on Maine Maple Weekend, or putting it on our pancakes and waffles. But as you alluded to, there are actually a number of uses for Maine maple syrup that don't actually have anything to do with your breakfast food. So what are those?
You can make kombucha,
okay.
you can make sodas, you can make a variety of different baked products, and of course the candies. So we're looking at why people would use these syrups in different ways, and find recommendations to give to the maple industry to tell them, you should be advertising, try this maple syrup in this product.
Because it sounds like it can actually just be an ingredient in other foods as well.
Right. Yeah. Every house has a couple of different kinds of jelly, maybe a couple kinds of sweeteners. They could have several kinds of maple syrup, and each one would have a different experience.
Alrighty. And, it's more than just great tasting and, just it's sort of a treasured export here for the state of Maine. There are nutritional benefits to maple syrup, and I think that's, again, something folks might not necessarily think about. We're just thinking about how delicious it is. But let's talk about some of maybe the lesser known nutritional advantages to maybe utilizing Maine maple syrup more in your diet, maybe as a substitute for sugar or just in other things.
Yes, a tablespoon of maple syrup only contains about 14 grams of sugar.
Okay.
About 52 calories. And so it's only about 60% sugar by weight, compared to table sugar is 100% sugar. So when you have maple syrup in a meal, your blood sugar won't go up as quickly or as high as if you had sugar or corn syrup or even honey. So that's a benefit for people who are watching their blood sugar.
Okay.
We want everybody to make sure they're not having too much sugar, but this is a good way to get antioxidants and minerals and that wonderful flavor.
So it's more than just a signature export and just a little bottle of deliciousness. It really, there's a nutritional benefit to keeping it real with Maine maple syrup.
Keep it real and keep it local.
All right. Well, we can agree with both of those sentiments. Thank you so much. This has been an education for sure, and we certainly hope that folks are going to take in plenty of Maine maple syrup on Maine Maple Weekend.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, folks. Stay with us for our extended forecast coming up.